let's move on to our second hot take after a little bit of a windy road into nowhere. I guess we're going to kind of do that tonight on this show. I don't know how late I'll stay. We might just talk about stuff all night. Not really. Maybe like an extra 20 minutes. Let's be real. I'm trying to tell you guys, there's nobody, and this may be a big claim, but I guarantee you there's not going to be anybody more honest with you about how this stuff goes on YouTube or social media than me, because I have nothing to hide from y'all. If I take a sponsorship, I'm going to tell you, these guys are going to pay me. And guess what? Paying me makes me able to pay bills, and that is a good thing. So if it happens, it happens. But I will be honest with you with each sponsor if they ever come, and how this thing goes, because you guys are the reason that this show would even have sponsors. If you think about it, if I ever get them, it's because of you, not because of me. It's because you guys watch it, you guys like it, you guys retweet it, you guys put it on your social medias. You are the guys that make it work. I work for you. And I think a lot of YouTubers have it the other way around. They have this big head like, oh, I'm such an amazing personality. Nah, you work for these people. And so that's how I look at it. You're all my bosses. Just treat me, a little bit. Treat me with some respect, y'all. Second story, second hot take. So a lot of people, once again, you're conservative grifters, which are going to come out. And I know I'm calling them grifters after 30 seconds ago telling you I'll take anybody who gives me money. You got to be honest with the grift. But the guys who pretend that they're not in it for the grift, the Procevics, the DC Dranos, the everybody that was at the White House, Mike Chernovich, all those guys, all these grifters, they're going to tell you, this is amazing. Well, great win for free speech. We're getting rid of DEI. We're punching back at the libs. This is actually quite dangerous. I hope Stephanie's sitting down. I hope Steph is sitting down. This is very dangerous. Now, I'm going to try and split the baby on this one. If that's it. Is it split the baby? I don't know. I'm going to try and split the issue here and try to give you both sides. One, government money should not be in schools. The reason why colleges are so expensive is because they have these ridiculous backings of the federal government so they can charge whatever they want. What is this? Columbia University. Columbia. Should have thought of this beforehand. University. I'm trying to make a point, and I'm not doing it very well. Because most of these colleges have this thing called endowments, where they get money back from their former eds or whatever the case may be. Usually they have the endowments here. So in 2024, Columbia got $14 billion in endowments. There's no reason that any of these schools, let me see this. I'll give you my example too. I went to the most prestigious school in the state of Rhode Island. That would be, wait for it, the Rhode Island College, the best D3 school you'll ever see. Go Anchorman. They're like, dude, shut up and don't tell anybody you went here. Even Rhode Island College got $16 million in endowments. You're telling me, Rhode Island College, you're telling me Columbia University, that you cannot fund your own students? That you cannot fund any of this stuff? That you need money from the government? That you need loans from the government through Fannie and Freddie? You cannot give out grants? You cannot give out loans to your students to come there? It's ridiculous. College is a huge racket because they force 18 and 19-year-olds who have no idea. These are the people that, they want to vote and can change their gender and do all this stuff. But they make them sign these loans for these ridiculous colleges that have $14 billion in endowment. And then they have to pay this $100,000 loan back over the whole course of their life. It's ridiculous. So on the one hand, colleges should not be getting government money, period. End of story. End of story. I have to do the clapping, right? End of story. They should not be getting government funding at all. Every university, whether it's Columbia University at $14 billion or Rhode Island College at $16 million. Rhode Island College has $16 million in endowments. Okay, how many people do they have in? They have 7,000 students at Rhode Island College. They can't divide up that endowment. No, you got to pay the professors and all these other kinds. You know what? There's way too many people on those college campuses to begin with. Many of them don't need to be there. So if colleges actually had to run their universities with the budgets and the endowments, maybe they wouldn't be $50,000, $60,000 a year. Hold on. Columbia tuition. I'm on a roll tonight, folks. We're not even into the main stories yet. Wait for that here on Rickcast. Let's see here. If you wanted to go to Columbia University as an undergrad, shut up with your eggs, Easter eggs or whatever they are. So the 2024 cost of attendance to Columbia University, $71,000 in tuition. And then a new student fee of $600 because why not? Housing and food is $17,000. Books, personal expenses, and transportations is another $4,000. The total cost to go to Columbia for 1 year is $93,000. How many students do they have? 36,000 students. I'm sure y'all can start doing the math on these kinds of things. They don't need government funds. They don't. You know why? Because if they actually had to start doing it based off their own budgets, it wouldn't be $71,000 for tuition. They are wringing these students and they're completely setting them up for failure so they can get the prestigious Columbia University. You're paying for the diploma. And nowadays, college educations aren't even worth the piece of paper it's written on. And you're going to tell me you're going to spend $93,000 a year? Governments need to get out of colleges, period. So on the one hand, I would kind of say it's great that that $400 million in grants and contracts and all that stuff is being removed, because I would like to see it removed, period. I don't want to see it in colleges anywhere. Well, Rick, how are these? Well, if Rhode Island College is making $16 million and Columbia got $14 billion in 1 year, by the way, 1 year in 2024, $14 billion, then there's no reason for the government to fund it. Sorry, you guys need to learn something about balancing your own budgets before you exploit all those students and make them pay for your bloated salaries, paying for people like Elizabeth Warren when she was teaching at Harvard. It's ridiculous. Exactly. That's it. These colleges, Crotchety Elder nails it. They get a blank check from the government. Oh, you can literally charge whatever you want because we'll back it. We'll make these students pay it. Think about it. They will make the students pay whatever the university charges. Because the government's like, yep, here you go. And they'll pay it. Don't worry about that. They'll pay it over their life. It's absolutely ridiculous. And so they're like, oh, if you take away the grants, how am I going to go to school? Make the college pay for you to go to school. If you get accepted into that college, they get to pay for it. Then again, you know what else you'll start to see less of? I know it doesn't happen anymore, but like affirmative action and DEI, because if you're paying for each individual student, you're not going to bring somebody that doesn't meet your academic standards because you're paying for them. Yeah, Texas A&M is no better. UT is no better. My wife got a master's from TCU. You should have seen the stuff that they were trying to charge her for. I got my master's from Penn State online. You know, even the online degree was like $36,000 for that, for an online degree. What the hell am I paying for? I'm not there. Technology fee. You guys put up YouTube, like literally you directed me to YouTube lectures. Anyway, this is my rant about college education. Apparently, I think it's a racket, because it is. Yeah. Crotchy's absolutely killing it. Brian, you guys are all killing it in my YouTube chat. Thank you guys. Keep it up. You know, they rope you in. You got to pay $93,000 a year because you're like, I'm going to Columbia. I'll get a good job when I go to Columbia. And then you get out and they're like, well, good luck, buddy. But by the way, your loan is still due. So it is what it is. Now that I've ranted about money in government schools, let me tell you why I don't like this. I don't like it, ladies and gentlemen. You know why I don't like it? I don't like it because anti-Semitism allegations. I thought colleges were places where freedom of thought was supposed to be expressed. Now I don't like the freedom of thought that's being um pushed here. Also, if you make these students pay, you can write whatever code of conduct you want. You could literally write, you could say you can't make fun of this group, or this group. And if you don't like it, you can't come to Columbia. Sorry. Or you can't come to UT, or you can't go to Baylor, or you can't go to Stanford. You have to live by our code of conduct because we are paying for you. All of these things, all of these problems at these universities go away. Now, of course, some of you will say, well, the Chinese put a lot of money into these endowments. The Saudis put a lot of money into these endowments. Foreign nationals put a lot of money into these endowments. It's not just US companies. And you're right. But I'd rather that be the problem than having these kids have to go to the government, beg for a loan, and then have to pay it off the rest of their life for the privilege of some blue-haired fat whale of a professor who has two masters in basket weaving and one in gender studies of basket weaving, telling you how stupid you are and how colonialism sucks or how white people are terrible or whatever the case may be. The government funds these people so they can have their terrible opinions. Do you get that out? If you want to have the terrible opinions, if you want to have all these stupid things, if you want to kick people out for anti-Semitism allegations, at least you have the ability to do so because you're paying for each individual student. Yosemite, I like that. I don't like that clip from the newsroom because it's one of the most pseudo-intellectual things. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. You've seen it online or whatever the case may be. But on the one hand, I like it because I don't want government money in there. On the other hand, I don't like what they're using to base this off of. I don't like it at all because we're propping up one group versus another group, or we're saying you can't, this group's untouchable, but this group is. And if the government's paying for it, which they shouldn't be, but right now, as the government is paying for it, then they should not be restricting certain types of speech. Now, if there's a university that's funded by, let's say, Israel, right? Let's say Israel funds Columbia. They just write a check and they give Columbia money. Nothing in the law against that. They're free to do it. Then they can enforce whatever code they want. Does that make sense? I only have a problem with it because it's the government that's determining this. I don't like government money in schools. And at the same time, I don't like the government canceling said loans, not because government money shouldn't be in schools, but I don't like the fact that the government money is being canceled because a certain group is being targeted. Now, some of you will say, well, it's harassment. Hey, guys, we got SCOTUS precedents that says hate speech is free speech, or anything, and speech is supposed to be protected. Everybody brags about your magnificent First Amendment and all these other kinds of things. Well, the First Amendment needs to apply everywhere, or can't apply anywhere. Now, of course, there are limits to it, like threatenings and things like that. And I'm sure somebody will jump in the comment section, which is fine. Please do. And tell me, well, Rick, they're threatening them and they're making their way of life difficult and all these other things. And I get it. I do. But the college needs to figure that out. The college needs to get that duck in a row. It's not the job of the government. The government should not be involved in private institutions. That's it. That's really it. And I don't know. Let me know. Am I wrong on this? Let me know in the comment sections down below on X and on Twitch and on Rumble and Facebook. Am I wrong? I don't think I am, but give me a reason why what I just said for the last 10 minutes isn't correct. Columbia makes $14 billion a year in endowments. Now, the word make might be a loaded term, but they receive $14 billion. How come they cannot fund their students? Right? And I'm not even telling them to give you grants. I'm telling them to loan them the money. Do your own loan system within that if you want. You can either loan them the money or give it out in grants or do whatever the case may be. Let's see if you really care about education or if you guys are just looking for nice, cushy jobs. Let's be real. Everybody wants to be a college professor because it's a great life. You write 2 or 3 papers, every couple, you write a paper every couple years, you teach 5 to 7 classes, you get tenure, and then your life is golden. So it's crazy how this goes. And so once again, I will wrap this up with a pretty little bow, splitting down the middle, trying to be even on this. I'm happy that this government money is being removed. I'm not happy for the reason that it's being removed. Let me know if you agree in the comment section down below here on Rickcast.